morning, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, particularly to all of our SME owners, entrepreneurs, and business owners who are here, all innovators, and everyone who's striving and working hard to ensure that we continue to put Nigeria on the global map of innovation and entrepreneurship. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. And again, I'm truly delighted to welcome us all to In Conversations with Mr. Abubakar Bello, who is the Managing Director of the Nigeria Export and Import Bank.
It is with great pleasure that I welcome you to this special breakfast section. In conversation with Abubakar Bello, the Managing Director of Nigerian Export and Import Bank, Nexim. We are honored to host such an esteemed gathering of thought leaders, entrepreneurs, exporters, investors, trade professionals, and development partners, each committed to shaping Nigeria's economic future through innovation, collaboration, and bold action. This morning's conversation couldn't be more relevant. It offers us a valuable opportunity to take a closer look at how the President, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu's renewed hope agenda, is driving global change and real change in Nigeria, particularly in diversifying our economy and expanding Nigeria's footprint in the global trade market. In this intimate setting, we are shining a light on the push to move beyond oil dependency and towards a more inclusive and export-driven economy. Nexim Bank, under the capable leadership of Mr. Bello, has been instrumental in advancing this vision, supporting exporters, unlocking trade finance, and helping Nigeria products reach international markets. From cocoa and cashew to urea and sesame, the growth in non-oil exports this year is a clear sign of momentum and possibility. This vision also resonates with the broader objective of the All Progressive Congress, particularly its push to build a more resilient economy, empowering young Nigerians and creating sustainable jobs through industrialization, innovation, and global competitiveness. For us at the National Youth Wing of APC, we believe prosperity is rooted in productive enterprise. From the farms, the factories, the tech hubs, and the creative studios that are driving Nigeria's economy forward. Across sectors, young Nigerians are ready, demonstrating what's possible and when opportunity meets ambition. Nexim's strategic intervention, whether through export credit guarantees, trade facilitations, or partnerships, are helping business break into new markets, add value to raw materials, and generate foreign exchange that has strengthened our economy. As we engage Mr. Bello this morning, let's explore how we can build on these efforts. How do we bring more Nigerians, especially young entrepreneurs, into the global market? What infrastructure and digital tools are needed to make exporting seamless and profitable? And how do we ensure that the renewed hope vision becomes a lived reality for millions? Let this morning be an insight. Let this morning give insight, collaboration, and action. Remember, we are not here just to talk, but to speak ideas and build connections that move us forward. On behalf of the Progressive Youth Wing and the Next Resource Center, we warmly welcome you. And thank you for being part of this meaningful conversation.
All right, thank you very much. So that's just, of course, a snippet into what we are expecting from the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Nexim, who I will be introducing shortly. But first, allow me to introduce on stage a visionary leader. And I don't say that because it's a nice thing to say. I've known this gentleman for such a long time, and I've seen him function very passionately in different capacities. And now, as the APC National Youth Leader, I've also seen his drive, his passion to ensure that the youth, which of course is, the largest segment of our population here in Nigeria, takes their rightful position. So I'm truly honored to invite on stage the APC National Youth Leader, Honorable Dayo Israel. Please give him a round of applause. He's also our convener. He's someone who is passionate about growth, passionate about progress, not just because he's, of course, in the Progressive Party, but he's genuinely passionate about progress. And now I'll be inviting our special guest of honor. When you read people's bios, it's not because you can't get it online. It's just to reiterate and honor them again because they've done such a great work. Well, he didn't let me read his bio before he came off stage. Please let's make welcome and give a better round of applause for Mr. Abubakar Bello, the Managing Director of Nexim Bank, who has left every other thing he could be doing this morning to join this conversation that we will be having. I know lots of people call him Mr. Abubakar Bello, but I'm calling him Ababi because I have insider information. Floriat! I also know that he's from King's College. He's a King's College old boy. Thank you so much for joining this conversation. Let's get right into it because we can't wait to have this enriching conversation. I'll allow my leader take charge and just give us a quick intro, and then I will come steer the conversation from here.
Everybody, are you excited to see Mr. Abubakar Bello in the building? Please give him a big round of applause. Good morning, Nigeria. I bring you the greetings of the National Youth Wing of the ruling party, the largest political party in sub-Saharan Africa, the All Progressive Congress. And we've put together this fantastic event, part of our series of events, an evening in conversation with, and an evening with, and in conversation with. An evening with happens in the evening. We've had the privilege of having the Minister of Digital Technology, Mr. Bosun Tijani, the Chairman of the Sport Commission, National Sport Commission, and also this week we have the Minister of Regional Development and a couple of others who are going to be here. But for the first time, we have a daytime series. This is not one of the evening sessions, it's a daytime session. And we're debuting that with none other than a experienced banker, a transformer, a change maker, and one that is helping Nigeria take over not just the African market, but the global market, with funding, with support, technical support and training. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the privilege of having with us here today my own big brother, Mr. Abubakar Bello.
Thank you, Dayo.
So you're going to Algeria.
Yes.
But you've delayed your trip just to be with us this morning. We're very grateful for that. Please, another round of applause for him. So let me start before I give you over to Moji. Nexim has been in existence for many years. What would you consider to be your biggest deal brokered so far in Nexim?
Nexim has been in existence since 1991. I got there in 2017.
2017.
Yes. Now, let me say good morning to everybody here. And I'm very impressed by the attendance. Why? Because it shows the youth have jumped onto the bandwagon for inclusion into building the Nigerian economy. Remember, by 2030, we have a target. And that target is to have a GDP in this country of $1 trillion. We're not going to do it without the involvement of the youth. And I think that's why in the Renewed Hope agenda, the inclusion of youth is a very fundamental point for the government that is running now. The youth constitutes something like 70% of our population.
Yes.
And if the youth is not in the productive circles of the economy, the production and value chains in the economy, then $1 trillion is going to be a miracle. So I'm impressed. And I hear you told me that this thing is being streamlined and many people are already in it. So that's kudos to you there and the organization of this. So since we got into Nexim in 2017, we've tried to involve Nigeria's export value chains and grow it beyond what it was when we got in. Before the coming of Nexim, or our coming as management of Nexim, most of Nigeria's exports have been primary products. Okay? So for me, I would say what we have done and we have done well and we're continuing to do is migrating Nigerian exporters from being mere exporters of primary products into adding value. What does adding value do to? It keeps our value onshore. It creates jobs and brings in the much needed foreign exchange that we're all pursuing today. So for me, pointing to specifics is going to be difficult because we have examples across different value chains, across different sectors of the economy. And if you look at the value of non-oil exports since 2017, it has been on a rising trend. Why? Because we're exporting more value rather than primary products.
A lot of time, women-led SMEs says that they have limited access to financing. And I know that you have a special program for women and youth at Nexim to support their export effort and all of that. Would you tell us a bit about this?
Okay, so in our assessment of the export value chains, we now found out that very few women, and very, very few women, are involved as entrepreneurs in the value chain. Okay? But on the other hand, when you look at specific value chains in the agri sector, and I'll give you an example, cashews, shea, and the likes, 80% of the people that work in that value chain are women. So for us, we now said, why can't women be the entrepreneurs?
Drivers.
And the drivers of these value chains. And I hear you when you say women complain that they don't access finance. It is a belief that they have. Okay? So for us, we now decided that we're going to launch products that is specific to women and youth. Severally, you heard, we had a big launch for it at Sheraton Hotel. I think it was in 2021. We had a big launch for it to tell women that as much as men that are above youth, the traditional owners of businesses in Nigeria, we also have products for you. So we launched a product that is called YF, which means Women and Youth Export Facilities, and is specifically targeted for women. What is different from it is that we have relaxed things like the collateral requirements. We have, of course, you know that Nexim gives concessionary loans to all exporters. So we invited women. We say, if you have exportable products, come to Nexim and you'll be financed. Don't think that financing is only for men who are not youth. So, so for us, women who are in whatever kind of business that is exportable can approach Nexim to be financed for that business. I know there are things like garmenting that women are very good at. If you go to the share value chain, it is virtually a woman's business. Though what we have today is very small cottage and traditional processes for getting share butter into the market. We want to scale women. We want to encourage them to get into the export value chain to the global markets and the regional markets most especially. Since we have an advantage in Nigeria, they can take advantage of.
I think you mentioned the share market, and I wanted to ask, recently the federal government just banned the export of shea butter and all of that. What's your perspective on that?
So 5 days ago, I woke up to good news. Good news given that statistics vary between this 40% to some say 60% of global share is in Nigeria. They are wild, but there are a lot of them. When we came on board in 2018, we now noticed that despite the fact that share is a growing global business, and 60, you can take the figure you want, but a very large percentage of global origin of share is Nigeria. We didn't have one industrial plant that was processing share in Nigeria. So we put it on the front burner that we are going to create and finance industrial processing of share. So far, we have financed 4. One in Ogun State, 2 in Niger State, and 1 in Kano. And they're all in production. But why was it good news to me? About 2 weeks ago, we went to Niger State to commission the 4th one. And one of the complaints that the promoters had was that sourcing the raw material is very difficult, given that there is already a tradition of producing for those that export it and export it illegally into neighboring countries where already there are industrial plants that exist. So when I woke up to the news in the morning, I think it was 5 days ago or 6 days ago, that the government has banned for 6 months the export of share out of Nigeria. What that has done is guaranteeing the supply chain for those 4 industrial plants that we have, and at a lower price, because before they were competing with people buying from outside. Now I think we're going to even have excess share for the production. But I even want to appeal to government to perhaps even increase the period from 6 months to perhaps a year, because we want to also encourage more people to start investing in value addition for share in Nigeria. And added to the appeal I'm making to government, let's not only make it share, let's look at other value chains, agricultural value chains, and start a process of banning the export of primary products. We must add some value at home so that we can keep the jobs here, we can create wealth here.
Okay, please go ahead. I would take one last question from me before I move over to Moji, and then we'll come back again. So this is an expo I'm going to ask for. So when we talk about non-oil sector export, which non-oil sector holds Nigeria's strongest export potential? Where should young people who want to go into export, where should we be putting our money? Where is the profitability based on the figures that you're saying?
Incidentally, I don't want to point to a specific value chain. The non-oil export sector is an opportunity pot. Okay, whether you're in the agri value chain, or you're in services, the creative sector, or you want to venture into solid minerals, we are operating suboptimally in all value chains as we are today. So what I'm going to appeal to the youth and encourage them to do is to invest where your passion is. Invest where your passion is, whether it's in the agri value chain, agro-processing, in the creative sector. I know a lot of you are very innovative, creative, and have a passion in the creative sector. So I want to generalize it there, that the opportunity is in the non-oil value chains. In all value chains, there is nothing that Nigeria has reached its potential. Okay? But for business, is where your passion is that you will excel in. And with the energy, intelligence, and creativity we have, when the youth engage in export, I know the value chains and the outcomes are going to be great. And I think what we're doing here is the right thing to do, to try and encourage the youth to get into that value chain.
Thank you very much. Moji, take it.
Thank you so much, Mr. Abubakar Bello. I
thought you said you were going to say Ababi.
No. It was a one-off when I was introducing him.
That means she has dig deep.
I have.
And to know that I'm called Ababi.
No worries. I really jogged you.
Okay.
So first, let me actually thank you, because I know that, IATF is the biggest trade fair in Africa, and it's happening. You're supposed to be in Algeria, but you've made time to be here. So thank you so much. Please, another round of applause for him. He just says that this is extremely important to him and he cares about what is happening here. But let's just go straight into talking about financing, because yes, we're talking about exports, but the money to finance the SMEs, SMEs need a lot of funding. Now, one of the things that scare SMEs is that when they hear of collaterals, they run away from these things, right? Is there any way that that Nexim in particular is considering solutions that are tailored to youth-led businesses to afford them the opportunity to get financing without the grand, collateral requirements that, businesses that are already established get?
Okay, I think this is a question that is a recurring question. Collateralization has always been a challenge. Yes, so just like we did the Women and Youth Facility, we also did one that is specifically called a SME Export Facility.
Okay.
And it's deliberate. Why is it deliberate? Is for the SMEs, which constitute 49% of Nigerian business. When I say Nigerian business, I mean in volumes, but it's about 80% of Nigerian active businesses. But it is deliberate to make the SMEs know that there is financing for them. And going specifically to your question about collateralization, we know across the banking sector and the financial services, that has always been the issue with SMEs. So what did we do? First of all, let's assure the youth, SME businesses, and those that have collateral challenges that we're ready to be flexible. We are flexible in, okay, let me just even tell you what Nexim is. Nexim is an export credit agency where one of our biggest functions is to do credit guarantees and insurance. Now, again, around the financial services sector today, several agencies and institutions have been created that are doing insurance and guarantees for loans, and it is targeted at SMEs. So those are an option. We have other things that we work with state governments to organize in the export value chain, people who are doing the same thing into cooperatives with the help of support from the state governments, communities, and so on, to try and keep everybody within a cycle. And we can now be flexible in our financing packages to reduce the collateral requirements. But I was having a discussion with Dayo over the weekend. I said, many SMEs and youth don't know that the central bank has also tried to have other alternative collaterals in the market, and it's called the national collateral registry, which enables movable assets. So if you have a car, you can register it on the collateral registry and use it as collateral. Many of you women have jewelry that is beyond what your financing requirements, the value of which is beyond what your financing requirements are, and are not using it to secure more money. So you can use movable assets, which includes jewelry and other small personal assets, as collateral for you. And when you acquire loans, the intention is that as you grow in the value chain or in your business, you are able to acquire assets that you will use as collateral for your financing needs. So over time, we have put in a lot of products that will address the issue of collateralization. For us, collateralization is a backup. What is important is what your business is. If your business is bankable, then we can adjust those requirements for collateralization and see how we can support you to achieve your aspirations. Now, don't forget that we, and others that are like us are developmental finance institutions.
Right.
So we're ready to look at other options rather than insisting on landed property, on other collaterals that are difficult for SMEs and the youth to acquire at this stage of their career and
thank
their
you.
businesses. Yes.
Thank you very much, sir. So all of this information can be found on the website, because I feel like people don't search for information. So
That's
sometimes
right.
they make assumptions based off what they hear.
The National Collateral Registry is a page on
Okay.
CBN's website.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, so
Let me even give you, as of 2022, up to 1.3 trillion naira has been acquired using the National Collateral Registry.
Wow.
And who are the people who are doing that? It's people in the rural areas, because the biggest users of the National Collateral Registry are microfinance banks. So it's small borrowers in the marketplace, small borrowers in the rural areas that are taking very small loans, but up to 1.3 trillion. So imagine when businesses get the hang of using National Collateral Registry with their movable assets to get funding from both commercial banks and DFIs.
Okay, thank you so much. So I'm going to move away from financing to talk about value addition and industrialization. And I think my first question to you in that regard will be, what makes a product truly export worthy? Because everybody wants to go global. I want to go global. All entrepreneurs, innovators here, farmers, and whatever category they fall, want to scale their businesses on a global scale, right? But what qualities must be checked to make your product export worthy? Is it the packaging? Is it, how far you have refined it? What exactly, so that we can...
It's a combination of all. Okay? Outside financing, Nexim is also a trade facilitator. And since we are putting money in financing export, we must also make sure that certain standards are met. If you are going into markets that are outside your boundaries, then standards change. Okay? And if you are going, maybe we'll have the same level of standardization across the region. But once you are going into the global market, standards need start going higher, because today things like sustainability have become very important, and sustainability is all about standards of things get as far as traceability. If you are doing agricultural products, for instance, the kind of chemicals and pesticides you have used in the farms, and it's all about standard. So to compete in the international markets, whether it is regional markets or the global markets, there are certain standards that have to be met. There is certification and there is packaging. Packaging being that is what attracts the eye. If you are producing to the retail market, to the retail end of the market, then your packaging and branding becomes very important. While that is not financing, those are the soft things that become very important when you are exporting from them. So to the youth and the SMEs, what I would say is that if you are going to start a business or you're already in business, start from day one to think that this business, even if you're selling in the domestic market at this time, that this business is intended to compete internationally, okay? So that the standardization and certification starts from the beginning, rather than when you get to the point where you want to start exporting, you want to start reviewing your standards. Start from day one with the aim to compete in markets that are outside the market of Nigeria.
Okay, thank you. So yes, be born local, but think global.
Correct.
Think global in your dealings, regardless of whatever it is that you're doing. So, in recent times, we've talked a lot about industrialization, and I think it's on everyone's lips. And I think just last month, it was last month, there was a National Industrialization Manpower Summit. How exactly does Nexim fit into Nigeria's industrialization journey? And how does that affect those that are here, that are listening, SME owners, and the cross-section of people that we have?
Okay, so Honestly, to compete in the global markets, you have to industrialize. And we've recognized that. I think when I started speaking, I spoke about our intention to keep migrating Nigerian exporters from primary producers to process, some form of process. One, because that's when you get the value. If you export primary products, what are you exporting with it? You are exporting value, you are exporting jobs. So for us, we've always known that processing is the way to go. So we coined an acronym, which is called PAVE. And what it means is to produce, whether it is from the farms, from solid mineral mines, or even garmenting. But before you export it, take it to the highest level of value that you can. So that PAVE means produce, add value before export. Let me just give you context. Somewhere between 73 and 75% of globally traded cocoa comes out of West Africa. Cocoa is a $200 billion and growing global value chain every year. But 75% of producers of cocoa, which is 4 countries basically in West Africa, don't get up to 10 billion out of it. So over $190 billion of value is exported because we are still exporting beans. And it's like that across all non-oil value chains. So there is a critical need. In our target of 1 trillion economy, one of the things we have to do is to industrialize. So Nexim's focus is contribution to the industrialization drive of Nigeria is in the export value chain. And I've spoken about industrializing the shea butter value chain. Incidentally, in its life, Nexim has had a hand in setting up maybe 80% of the cocoa processing plants in Nigeria from 1991. And it is a drive we are continuing to do in different value chains, in solid minerals, in the agricultural value chains, as well as things like services, garmenting, and all, to just keep moving up the global value chains to get more value in Nigeria. So for the export value chain, Nexim's contribution is in that.
Thank you. I think I really like the acronym PAVE.
Yes.
Produce, add value before you export. So just always think of value. Thank you. So, Honorable Diane.
Yes, thank you very much, MD. I think one thing you're going to talk about globalization, talking about the global marketplace. A lot of SMEs, a lot of businesses want to export and go global at once. Do you reckon that it's important to start sub-regionally? So export into West Africa, export into, leveraging after before trying to go to America and Canada. What's your thoughts on that?
So the mindset for most people when they hear export or want to engage in export is to export overseas, and I use the term overseas deliberately, is to go across the seas to Asia, to Europe, and to America. That is the mentality of the African continent, that we trade with other continents and not trade with ourselves. In the whole world, Africa is the only continent that doesn't trade with itself, or the trade between itself with neighbors is the lowest. And it's somewhere around 15 to 18% of trade, African trade. If you go to Europe, 65% of European trade is done within the EU. In America, it is about 45%, and in Asia, about the same, 48%. Africa is still at 15 to 18%. That is why AFCFTA is very important. Borders have been created, barriers have been created between us and our neighbors. We're not trading out with ourselves, and the whole objective of the AFCFTA is to bring down those barriers and encourage trade vertically across the regions and across Africa. Now, that is also why IATF is very important, because one of the things that we lack in Africa is information. We don't know, honestly, we don't even know what is produced in Senegal. What we are looking for in Senegal, we go and buy it from Asia. What we are looking for in Nigeria that is produced in Senegal, we buy it from Asia because we have no information that exists in Senegal. So the intra-Africa trade is supposed to bring that everybody together, share information about the availability of certain things. So our hope and what we encourage is to get our exporters to look at the African market. Imagine you make plantain chips. You live in Badagry. Your closest market is actually Cotonou, which is across the border. Okay? What stops you from producing in a formal way your product and selling it in Benin Republic? It's still export. It's still the same thing as exporting to China. Still the same thing as exporting to.
But the currency is different.
But the current so international currencies all as we are now to do that trade, and that is one of the things that AFCFTA with affecting parts is trying to solve. As we are now, even if you are trading with Benin Republic, you are going to trade in dollar or maybe euro because it's Benin Republic. But first, what we need to do is even create the trade. Currency challenges is there. The desired currency, the US dollar, is there. But we should also create, in fact, it even exists. Informal trade today, non-oil informal trade, is bigger than formal trade. And it shows that we are already trading with each other. But we are trading with each other in an informal manner. And we're not getting the benefits of export. The economy is not getting the benefits. It's probably recorded as domestic trade, okay, because it's on the ground and well, one of the things, the lowest hanging fruit to get the benefits of export is to shift the exporters now that are trading across the border onto the formal platform. And I think with the coming of AFCFTA and those barriers collapsing, that will happen. And we should see non-oil export and trade, recorded trade with the region increase significantly.
Thank you.
Sorry, just one last thing, and for the youth and SMEs. With AFCFTA trading with our neighbors, there is nothing that is now not exportable. Why? Because at least the region is homogeneous. So what we consume in Nigeria, if it's food, is also consumed around our neighbors. Okay? The only things that are not exportable are those that are on the exclusive trade list. So everything you're doing, if you are doing what you think is small business, your product is still exportable to the region. And I would encourage you to also look at the markets around the country, around Nigeria, because those are also markets that your product can move in. You don't have to start thinking of Europe. Think local. Let me borrow. And local in this case is within the African continent, within the region. It's as good as exporting to what I now term overseas.
Thank you so much. And before we move to the audience, because I know lots of people are itching and eager to ask questions, I think my final question to you will be in terms of mentorship and guidance. A lot of young people, so there's a money conversation, but some people don't lack access to money. What they lack is access to mentorship, guidance, and just that support. Is there anything that Nexim is doing in terms of training, mentorship, guidance to just help to also challenge a lot of mindsets and behavioral patterns?
So what you're speaking is about building the capacity.
Capacity building, yes.
Which can be from training, understanding the product, understanding the processes, and even mentoring individuals in terms of believing in yourself.
To just help their journeys, yes.
Yes, of course. It's a very, very huge part of what we do. And like I told you earlier, Nexim is not only a financing institution, it's also a trade facilitation agency. First of all, with NEPC, which is the trade promotion agency in Nigeria, we organize a lot of capacity building sessions. But beyond that, we do what is called export enlightenment programs, where we bring, first of all the agencies that are involved in the export value chain, ministries, agencies, including DFIs that will finance your industrialization and so on and so forth, and go around the country and do this export enlightenment training and so on and so forth. But we also noticed that is time consuming. And it's also digs our resources that we should use for lending in doing capacity building. So we decided to do that enlightenment in the palms of everybody. We facilitated and promoted an export academy that is open and free. Well, for now it's free. For every budding exporter or an existing exporter that wants to increase knowledge or increase capacity, we put all the training programs, resources, and what have you on that platform and it's accessible to everybody. That doesn't mean that we still don't do the physical export enlightenment. We also support, as part of our CSR, not in a very, very big way, capacity building programs that others are doing specifically for trade and export to build capacity in different value chains and in the different groups that are willing or hoping to start being engaged in the export value chain. And for me and Nexim, being in the export value chain doesn't mean that you have to be an export yourself. You can be just part of the supply chain for an export to an exporter or to those that do the export. You can choose to do aggregation. You can choose to supply into the aggregation centers, okay? And once you are in the export value chain, you still qualify to get support from Nexim Bank. So for those that are not already in export, get in the value chain, build capacity, understand the businesses before you engage in the business. But you can still come to us for funding and support.
Okay, incredible. Thank you so much. Please let's give a round of applause to Mr. Abubakar Bello, aka Ababi. All right, so we'll take questions from the floor so that we make this as conversational as possible.
My name is Abubakar Bello from New Telegraph Newspapers. I've followed conversation of MD Nexim Bank, and I commend him for leading the innovation. MD sir, could you tell us how much of export development fund have been granted to businessmen in the last 1 year, and what the volume of job has been created?
My name is Dr. Femi Adetola. I came in from Oyo State purposely because of this program.
Wow, thank you very much. Give him a big round of applause.
My question is for the two of us, the youth leader as well as my uncle, Ababi. I want to ask, what are we planning to make sure that this program is not just a rhetoric? What is the follow-up we have in mind to make sure that we have testimonies from this group of youths that are here?
It's a pleasure being here with you all, and I must say congratulations, Dayo, my dear son. I call him my son. This is a great innovation.
Thank you.
Mr. Abubakar Bello, this is a great pleasure having you here because this is what the youth and the women need. So I say, I am starting a program which Mr. Dayo already knows about. It's called Lavutra. And we are Lavutra. We are trying to grow visibility for a lot of startups, organizations, especially the events planners.
Industries.
Yes, event industries. It's a platform that is a place for all event planners all in one place. So my contribution is that Lavutra is Africa's premier event tech platform designed to simplify and elevate event planning while showcasing our culture and creativity to the world. Given Nexim Bank's leadership in financing non-oil exports and supporting the creative economy, how can platforms like Lavutra tap into Nexim's support scale, empower SMEs, and extend African events and services to global markets? Are there collaborative pathways where Lavutra can align with Nexim's initiatives to showcase Africa's creativity and services on international platforms, much like you've done for other sectors?
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Mr. Dale, thank you for being the good leader to us. Good morning, sir. Mr. Abadi. My question, let me just go to my question, sir. What is the volume of the funding you can raise for the new exporters that want to come into that? And what is the interest, the highest interest on that money, in which will not affect the trade business owners?
My name is Chief Chibunna Obawike. I export live ornamental tropical fishes and reptiles.
Wow.
Now, I was the former president of Association of Ornamental Fish Farmers and Exporters of Nigeria. I was a member of the Presidential Committee on Fisheries and Aquaculture Development in Nigeria in 2003. By the time we finished our committee work, Nigeria became the largest catfish producer in Africa. What basket of funds do you have available for people who are in the trade already? Not people you will say, come, let us train you here, because the experience is already there. We already have the market.
I watched the clips showed before we started this program, and some questions arose within me. Number one is, most of those businesses I was seeing, Lagos, supported by Nexim. So I begin to think, should I conclude that there is a school to Nexim support to business owners? Within me, I say answer no. And I feel we need to close some gaps in order to make this sitting today productive and sustainable, like our activists just said. By virtue of my practice and my profession as an analyst, analyze food products and medical scientist too, even for exports and the likes, I've met a lot of people coming with questions. They don't understand how to go about this, even aside funding. So that is making me to come to this, that can we consider, if it's going to be organized by the youth office or Nexim, we call some things train the trainers or consultants that can handle as many upcoming business, entrepreneurs that may want to go into exportation, or even local businesses that will enhance the economy of our nation. A lot lack this knowledge and wherewithal. Can we please consider that as a take-off strategy from this sitting, and harness the opportunities and the brains we have here, and by extension that will come after, and really give back to the economy and better this government? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Very interesting questions, especially the last one. I like it very well. The lady that asked the last one, the analyst. Sorry, I didn't get your names when you were asking the questions. The gentleman from the Telegram newspaper asked about the Export Development Fund and how much of it has been disbursed. You said in the last 1 year, right? Let me give you context. It's difficult. I can get it, but it's not something that is in my head. That was disbursed in the last 1 year. The Export Development Fund was and still is a debenture that we signed with the Central Bank of Nigeria to support exporters. A total of 137 billion naira has been released to Nexim, but that fund is going in as a revolving fund. So even when exporters pay back, we give new loans with it, either to the same exporter or a new exporter that has not had the benefit of getting funded. So it's a revolving fund, and it's a total of 137. The debenture was 150, but only 137 billion was released to us. Now, but we have gone beyond the Export Development Fund. Nexim's total assets, all of which goes to lending to exporters, is today around 430 billion naira. Okay? And all our lending, we're doing it on the same condition that we have for Export Development Fund. A follow-up question came from somebody in the middle here that was asking at what price point are we lending? What is the interest rate? Our total all-in rates in Nexim Bank is 9%, which earlier I said, outside being a lender and a concessionary lender, we're also a trade facilitation bank. So that's what I meant. You get your funding at single digits, 9%, which is maybe the only bank that you can get, maybe one other DFI. But that's the lowest interest rate in the market today, at 9%. So we have funded exporters to the tune of somewhere around 420 billion naira today, all at very concessionary rates. The jobs that have been created, direct jobs that have been created from our funding, is somewhere about 12,000 jobs from our funding. That is, I said, direct jobs. But when you have a plant that was financed by Nexim, the number of jobs that plant creates is almost infinity. The number of jobs that are created in the value chain because of our funding is not even going to be easy to, and I'll give you an example. There is a company we're financing in Akure that does processing of cocoa. They told us that our funding facilitated using, prior to our funding, they were using 4,000 outgrowers for their cocoa. And our funding took it up to 12,000. Okay? So when we're estimating the jobs we have created, we can only look at the direct ones and the indirect jobs that are close to the beneficiary of the loan. But further down, it keeps growing. Okay? But direct, we can tell you that about 12,000 jobs have been created from our funding. Next question about what happens after this program today. I can't remember who asked the question, that this won't be a one-time thing. It is exactly the same thing we discussed with National Youth Leader over the weekend, that we're going to use this as the big occasion where it will be on TV and all. But we must create continuity so that we can sustain the momentum. We suggested between ourselves that we'll do something with the youth, organized by Dio, because I can see he can organize. We will do something with the youth quarterly so that we can maintain the momentum, building capacity, but with the youth and SMEs, let's not wait for the quarterly engagements. Let's also go out there to try and build capacity. Like I mentioned, Nexim is there for you. It was created for you. And because we're a trade facilitation agency, even if you need something to clear, walk into our offices. We don't fence people. When you come and you want information, we'll give it to you. And if we have any capacity building programs, feel free to be part of it, because those capacity building programs are for you, the exporters and prospective exporters. We will continue this engagement and know that our offices are always open to you. You can come in at any time. Lavotra events. Again, that's the export of services. When you are speaking, you said it. How do we encourage the export of services? Today, services constitute close to 55% of our GDP. It is the biggest sector of our economy. And services, you know, is very wide. Almost what Moji does is services. Yes. Okay? And we want to see how we can export our services to Ghana. We want, when somebody is having an occasion, which is event planning, excuse my English. Yeah. And the first person the person thinks is Moji in Nigeria, let's go like, it's all export. Okay? So a very significant pillar of what we do in Nexim is how we can support the export of services out of Nigeria. Today, outsourcing is a growing business in Nigeria. From telephone, call centers, servicing countries abroad, to accounting services, to legal services. There are people sitting in their houses and giving accounting services to companies in America. It is the export of service. And for the youth that are very adept at digital things, that is your business. It is part of our focus areas to keep developing it and supporting it. So events, I want a situation, again, when somebody is planning an event anywhere in Africa, what they think of is Lavotra. And once you have those services, those contracts, or those jobs to do, come to us if you need financing for it. As long as you flow the dollars back to Nigeria, we'll finance it. Again, we're also all part of services. We're trying to see how we can support Nigerian businesses in sectors such as construction to explore African markets. All these big roads we're building now, we're again rebuilding the capacity of construction companies in Nigeria. Jobs are not only in Nigeria, there are jobs in Benin Republic, there are jobs in Ghana and across the whole of Africa. We want to see how we can support our services providers to go out of the borders and expand their horizons. So if you have those jobs, or even in setting up with the intention of exporting such services, we can have a discussion to do. I'll give you an example today, Moji. The IATF that is happening in Algeria, we are seeing Egyptian construction people going to Algeria to do the setup of the pavilions, and that's export of service. And we're wondering why Nigerian construction people are not going there to do. It's all export of service. Is to pull in the resources of other countries into your home by providing either goods or services to them. Yeah. So we can have a discussion on that. I think I've answered the volume and interest questions that the gentleman across in the middle somewhere here. It's 9%. All in there, no hidden charges. You know, like you say about banks, hidden charges. That is 9% total. Okay.
Single digit interest rate here. Exporter of fish. First, what are ornamental fish? Is it goldfish that is in ponds or what? When you say ornamental fish,
yes, goldfish is part of ornamental fish. It is not endemic to Nigeria. It is foreign species.
Okay, so generally you're speaking of aquaculture.
Not just aquaculture.
Yes.
Aquaculture is a component part of ornamental fish trade.
Okay.
I concentrated more on live animal exportation. Clearly, Nigeria signed the Convention of CITES in 1974, and we have not benefited from it.
So, first of all, let's even speak about domestically. It is because of focus on areas that have been neglected before. President Tinubu did two things. He separated the Ministry of Transport from and created the Ministry of Blue Economy. Blue economy is not about MPA only. It's not about shipping and maritime industry. It is actually, it also includes aquaculture from the sea. It also includes fisheries and tourism. Yeah, I know there is a ministry that is in charge of tourism, but the tourism around the blue economy is, so that's why they call it blue economy. They didn't call it marine economy, blue economy. It is all encompassing. So there is focus there now. There's also now focus, separation from Ministry of Agriculture and the Ministry of Livestock is created.
Yes.
Again, it's about focus to make sure that everything livestock has its own specialization. And if I hear you well, livestock is not really cow. No, I'm just saying livestock, because we have a tendency to limit what the functionality is, including your reptiles, is livestock. If you're doing snails, is livestock. Okay, so there is a focus for it. But for us, we've always known that there is value in, maybe because I didn't say it when I was saying what our pillars were. Even aquaculture is part of our focus area, but we just group it as agriculture. Maybe we should even now separate it so that it can become a focus area. We're financing the export from Nigerian waters of shrimps, prawns, lobsters, and fish. Okay, maybe not ornamental fish, because we're not experts in fisheries. If you come to us and tell us there is value in the export of this ornamental fish, we will support you. There is value in export of reptiles. Crocodiles are reptiles. Snakes are reptiles, and the skin is valuable. We can do it because we have a focus on leather and skin. Okay, and crocodiles and snakes are part of it. So, like I said earlier, there is nothing that is not exportable. If you have value that you want to export, speak to us. We as Nexim don't have the monopoly of knowledge. We don't even know all the things that are exportable. The business you're doing, perhaps you're about a very few Nigerians that know that business is also exportable. Speak to us, tell us, teach us as we teach you, so that we can partner and collaborate to get value for it.
Yeah. Let me quickly drop this also to the questions about what are we doing. Here at the Nest Resource Centers, in partnership, the youth wing of the partnership with other organizations are doing a lot to ensure that we build capacities of our young people. That's part of why we're doing this, because a lot of people complain, we can't access this minister, we can't access this government official, we voted for your party. And our platform is to bring policymakers and the citizens together to create a platform for engagement and easy access to policymakers to hear directly from you. I understand a couple of people are in the marquee outside and they also have questions. Either you tell them to bring them here, or you now if you can get them to write their questions down and bring me the questions, yes, we'll take that. We're not done. Okay, you have the question.
There is one more question.
Oh, okay.
Yes. There is something else. I don't think what you said about people working in this government and working against the government is right. And I'll say this. You mentioned environment. Because of focus on sustainability now, environmental issues have taken top priority. I want you to go back and see, is there documentation or something you're supposed to do to your business that you have not done? It's not good to just assume that somebody is doing it to frustrate you. I don't think to frustrate government is what you meant. It's to frustrate you that you're speaking about. Okay? I don't think it's the right platform for us to debate that. Yes. But let us just put it on the table. Like you said, because we are also a facilitation agency, along with our sister agency, Export Promotion Council. If you have those challenges, come to us, come to Export Processing, Export Promotion Council. We'll see how we can also advocate for your requirements to be met from agencies that are charged with making sure Nigeria meets global standards. I want to look at it from that perspective rather than frustration. Yes. The lady that is the analyst, you spoke about all the videos you saw are all Lagos, Lagos, Lagos. Most of them are Ogun State. Or Ogun State. Okay, so let me tell you, it's just a coincidence. Maybe it is those that were chosen. One of our things that we're very aggressive about, one of our objectives that we're aggressive about, I mentioned it earlier, is to encourage processing. Number one. A lot of the processing facilities are put in Lagos. It's simple economics, proximity either to the raw material or proximity to market, okay? And market in this case, since you are an exporter, market is your vessel that is taking your products out. Okay? But it is not a deliberate policy of Nexim to concentrate on certain areas. It is because businesses seem to concentrate in certain clusters. If you are a manufacturer, you find many manufacturers or processors in the Lagos, Ogun stretch. Some of the issue may be because of logistics reasons and closeness to the port. But don't forget, I mentioned earlier that in the soya value share value chain alone, we'll finance something in not Ondo, in Niger State, two plants. We'll finance in Kano. Now, why you are seeing this program is because of those areas we want to showcase. Processing. If you're exporting just sesame seeds, what are we going to show you? Sacks being loaded on trailer. It is export, but we want the focus to be on processing. Okay? Now, there is a second thing we have done. Outside Lagos, we found that in different regions of Nigeria, there are clusters that are trade-driven clusters. If you go to the north, it is Kano. So everything that is produced in neighboring states, like my own state, Katsina, finds its way to the Kano aggregation facilities. We want to encourage the complete value chain to be finished in the state of production. Okay? So we introduced something that is called the State Export Development Fund, which was riding on the program that NEPC was driving, which is called One State, One Program, One Product. That is to say, in every state of Nigeria, there must be something that is exportable. Okay, and we went and stood behind NEPC to say, everything you've promoted here, we'll put money behind it. Okay, so there is State Export Development Fund that we're working with state governments to ensure that whatever produced, whether agri products, solid minerals, or aquaculture in this case, that the state with the entrepreneurs in that state want to develop under the One State, One Product, will put money behind it so that we can spread our benefit across the whole country and our support. So it's not deliberate that we're doing Lagos.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your very rich answers. So some questions here. I think the first I would read is, what is one common mistake you see SMEs making when they approach development finance institutions like Nexim? One common mistake. Then another question, how is Nexim creating opportunities for young entrepreneurs in the creative industries who want to scale their ideas into export-ready businesses?
Sorry, just passing the way.
How is Nexim creating opportunities for young entrepreneurs in the creative industries who want to scale their ideas into export-ready businesses? Then I have another one here on the maximum lending amounts that can be accessed, and is this sector specific? The maximum lending amount, or then can Nexim help or assist explorers in contact with international buyers or agents that represent the import world, import market.
So that's foreign market.
Yes, the foreign market. Solidarity greetings, MD. I'm Yusuf Tobi, okay, SUG President of Uni Abuja. On behalf of the 50,000 students of Uni Abuja, we want to appreciate you, okay? My question is, as students who are interested in export business, how can we really access this funding opportunity? And are there specific provisions for young people like us who are just starting out? I think I'll take one more. This person is asking about training. We've answered this. Okay, so this person is asking, what is Nexim doing to take this kind of important program to the rural areas across the country? Okay, I think
let me add this. As a student that already has a popcorn brand, ready to eat packaged popcorn, how can I export? Can I export it and how? I should please make sure that you drop some of those popcorn before you leave here today. So we can verify.
Okay.
We'll start with the compare. Let me taste it.
You said the first question was about common mistakes.
Yeah.
The most we see mistakes is the lack of proper preparation. What SMEs do not do well is to package their proposal so that the banks understand what they are trying to do. So the packaging is a bit below expectation. Usually when you get applications or proposals from SMEs. To handle that, we now entered into, for the international businesses, into a partnership with Nexim. And we have a product that is called the Joint Project Preparation Facility. What does it do? We have a domestic one that we can support small SMEs and small businesses that cannot access Nexim. What basically is for us to sit down together with you and understand your business. You tell us what your business is and we help you to prepare your proposal with you. Okay? It may cost you a bit of money. That's why it's a facility. But what we do for both the joint project facility preparation and the domestic one is to make that cost part of the loan that you benefit from. Okay? But for us, there is nothing better than building the capacity for yourself so that you'll be able to transmit this not your product, but your idea for other people to understand what you are trying to do. Okay, it's not enough that you know what you want to do and you just do one sheet of paper. I want to apply for 500 million naira to export sesame. People don't know what is the process that you are trying to follow to do the egg. So we sit down with you and help you plan it and do that. So for me, that's the most common mistake. But there are other mistakes. Other mistakes that are around standards. Many of us assume that when they package things from source, that everything is okay. So we export things that even when you get the funding, we export things that probably have impediments inside. Sand, stones, nails, and it gets to markets that will reject it. You will make losses, the bank as a lender will make losses. So one thing that you have to do is to ensure yourself as an exporter that what you are taking out there to export is up to the standard that has been requested from your export contract. Those are the kind of things that SMEs need to take care of. Let it be known, and that's branding. Let it be known that once you see something from Lagutra, if I can use borrow your name, that you know everything has been done properly. You have to keep building that brand. Let us also create a brand for Nigeria, that anything that comes out of Nigeria has a positive brand. And we say, when you see shoe that is made in Italy, without knowing whether it is good or bad, now you buy it because it is a brand. So let us work together, all of us, to ensure that Nigeria's brand is viewed from a positive point of view. That whatever we put our stamp as proudly Nigerian, it meets international standards. It's things we should continue doing until everybody takes out that negative perception about Nigerian products in the global export market. So creating opportunities for young exporters. Let me just put in young Nigerians that we want to pull into export is, I think, one of the things that we're doing today. One, creating awareness, building capacities, and supporting you when you start the business with financing or instruments that will enable you to trade your goods. Sometimes it doesn't have to be financing, as in naira or dollars. Sometimes with instruments, guarantees, insurance, and so on, we can finance your business, we can facilitate your business, and the financing will come in as the transaction is going. Okay? Again, that is why if you have an idea of what you want to do, speak to us, speak to NEPC and other trade facilitation experts, and they will guide you through how we can support you. A question came in about, again, maximum volume and conditions.
Yes.
There is no maximum on the side of the exporter. What limits us is what we call a single obligor limit. Okay? The bank can give you money up to a certain amount that the capital of the bank allows us to do. But on your own side, what maximum we give you is depends on what the business that that's why we have to have a full understanding of your business so that we can estimate how much volumes you need to do to complete a cycle of the business you're trying to do. So your maximum depends on what business you are doing. Our maximum depends on our limit, our ceiling. We have a ceiling that we can do. And that, I don't think when we're supporting you, and I'm not saying anything to degrade the importance of you, we're not going to get to that maximum that we can do for any single exporter. When we're talking of those, we're talking about the big guys, okay? Where we start reaching our ceiling. So for this sitting and SMEs, by the time you can get to that limit, you won't be considered an SME again. You'll become a big player. You become a big player. For us, we'll be within limits with you. So any business you have and the volumes that are required, we can support you with it. And I've spoken about the conditions, the rates are still single digits. Introduction, I think the next one is introduction to foreign markets. That, as financiers, we don't do. Okay? We allow NEPC to do that. They are the ones that are promoters of trade in Nigeria, promoters of export. And you ask me why, if you come to Nexim, we won't give you the address of, foreign address of an off-taker, a buyer of your product. Because if things go awry, you come to us and say you are the one that it's our money. But you come to us and say you are the one that told us to deal with this man. So we allow you to go and find your off-taker. Go to NEPC, they will connect you with off-taker. If you build trust between you, you can come to us then and we'll finance it. So we don't give
no matchmaking.
No match. We don't do matchmaking so that we don't go and put ourselves in trouble. Then opportunities, again, the next question is about opportunities for young people. I think that's a repeated question, which applies to this question. Come to us, if you just even have, I don't want to call it a dream, if you have a vision about the business you want to do, but don't know how you go about doing it, start engaging. Engage with us, engage with NEPC, engage with other agencies, institutions, not necessarily private sector, but like development agencies. They have programs that they support people who want to go into this kind of businesses, especially in the export value chain. we'll all come together and support you so that we create this exciting and exciting opportunities that are in the export value chain for the young people of Nigeria. We want to partner with every body or every agency that wants to promote youth in export. And we will support you till you become adept at doing export business.
Okay. I think
Popcorn. Popcorn.
The most important question.
I want to see this guy that has this popcorn.
Please, I think the person is in the overflow. Can the popcorn person please come over?
Because we can look at it.
Yes.
But what I want to encourage is that there is nothing too small that cannot be exported. There is nothing that is too small to say that it cannot be exported. And I like his determination. He doesn't look at it like popcorn is a street visa. After all, we go to H Medics in Abuja and buy popcorn. Yes. That popcorn can be exported. In my office, I have something that I put. I have a cabinet that has products, especially those that are produced in Nigeria. But I also put samples so that our mindset will start shifting. What is that sample? It was bought on the shelves of the United States, a United States store. Okay? What is inside is plantain chips. The same plantain chips that we buy. But because of packaging, you are made to spend, I think it's $3.50.
That's your popcorn.
Okay. It's
okay.
$3.50 for not more than one finger of plantain.
Yes.
$3.50, just calculate it in naira and see.
Yam is £8.
You are talking about 5,000 or 6,000 naira for one finger of plantain, and it's all packaging and branded. It's the same. Yorubas call it pekere.
Yeah.
The same pekere that is sold on the street.
Yes.
That is in that. So there is nothing that is not exportable.
Yes.
Do it well, standard, quality, package it very well, attractive to the eye, put it on any shelf around the world, it will be bought. And if you come to us, we will facilitate putting it on the shelf around the world. What we want, why I said I wanted to see you, I want to see this person that has the determination of taking popcorn outside the borders of not only Nigeria, but even Abuja. You are taking outside Abuja, outside Nigeria, but look at the maybe regional markets. And I assure you, you won't feel.
Come and get a popcorn and shake with the MD. It's because of people like you that were
we did an export enlightenment program, and I think somebody asked about the rural areas.
Yes.
And I don't say Kebbi is rural area. We take our message across the whole country. Okay? Once you can put people together and they want to be enlightened, because most of the products we grow, they come from the rural areas. We want them to grow more, even if they can't be in. So went to Kebbi State at the Export Enlightenment Program. A young man like this guy, very young guy, came and said he has orders to export dried fruits to Russia. He's schooled in Russia. He has contacts in Russia. Dried pineapple, mangoes, oranges, he dries them. Can he get financing? No, he said, your financing is not for people like us. We told him, come to the office, let's discuss. He came, we helped him package his products, his business, the process, because it's something that is new. Today, he has a plant in Idu here. Wow. Doing, yes. So there is nothing that is important.
This success story.
Yes. He has a plant, and we're taking him to intra-Africa trade in Alger so that he can go and showcase those dried fruits so that he can expand his markets within Africa rather than just having one market in Russia. So popcorn guy, you can also come. I will support you to do industrial scale popcorns.
Amazing. I'm sure if we ask you for so many success stories, you have a lot to share. We just need to hear. I think hearing these things also helps to reinforce the possibilities that exist within within the export space. So yes, thank you for sharing that story.
Thank you so much. I think because MD is traveling today, we'll take a final batch of questions.
I can't thank you enough for this exposure and also the creativity that our young leader here has. We have been thoroughly enlightened, especially myself. I want to ask, government of Asiwaju Tinubu has been trying to expose our industrialization and efforts to ensure that we are liberated. Sorry, my name is Festus Benga Olubodu. Now, sir, and he's been trying to create agencies and avenues to ensure that we are really liberated industrially. And one of them that I recently know about very well is a National Credit Guarantee Agency that is chaired by one of our very respectable Nigerians here. And I want to ask, sir, is there any synergy being built around all these agencies of government that will ensure that people like our people seated here will maximally benefit? I also want to say, sir, that I also have a relationship with a livestock farmer that has silage of imported grass that when you see his cows, they are robust. And I think also will there be any support, supposing those things are prepared for export, in your place for us to encourage export?
Good morning. I'm Engineer Mohammed Onotu, the founder of Productive Youth Network. So I'm going to give, based on my experience, I have a platform for mentorship that I've been running for 10 years. So I'm going to give you, for sustainability, this one phase of my question will be recommendation, then the second one, question-based. So for sustainability, so I'm thinking we have two classes of people here. Those that already have existing businesses, so we can have a community for them, a WhatsApp community. We already have data now. So for those that are also upcoming, we also have a sub-community for them. So what we will do is quarterly, as I heard the MD say, there will be a meeting. So the quarterly meetup would be more of action-driven, while the community-based would be a transition towards the quarterly building. So what we can do is that for those existing businesses, on that quarterly basis, we can say, oh, we have 50 million on quarterly basis that would set aside for existing businesses to scale. So this also would rekindle the hope for those that would keep coming for programs like this and also enhance the sustainability. This is my suggestion. Then for the second one, the future of work, which also the future of export is also transitioning, and it works around three phases: the mindset, skill set, and tool set. So if we're going to, my first question will be on mindset. So on mindset, I am someone that I know no one. I have no connection. Is there a step-by-step guide I can follow just by hearing the information, either a link or a step-by-step procedure that can give me the assurance of accessing any of this on mindset level? Then on skill set, we have come to a conclusion that anything that has to do in Nigeria is substandard. So, and also when it comes to an organization like SON, Standard Organization of Nigeria.
That's substandard. There's also mindset.
That's mindset.
There is also mindset.
That's true. So for SON, Standard Organization of Nigeria, they are doing so much. Is there any set aside fund to help them in also assuring the quality control so that anywhere you are in the world, when you hear Nigeria, just like you mentioned Italy, you know that this is associated with quality? Then the last one, the tool set. So the third question is, we have lots of businesses that are doing well, but sustainability of businesses is also questionable because of the atmosphere, inflation, so many things. Is there any platform in order to also, more like joint venture, to existing business so that they don't just come take loan, then the guys that take the loan tour around the world, flexing with so is there an avenue where Nexim has a stake in some of these relevant businesses that cannot and should not be expected to fade off? Thank you.
My name is Dr. Joshua, MD of Cultivating Africa. My national leader, MD, and Moji, I'm recognizing you. So I've been in the business of agro commodities, most especially for the past 1 decade. And aside from cocoa, which I'm more interested in, sesame seeds, cashew, which we are currently working on the factory now as well. So sir, please, I want to ask a question for the small cocoa merchants, the aggregators, because exporting requires a lot for cocoa. So most people just get to buy from the farmers and then they sell to the merchant and then we export. So what are the opportunities that the bank has for these small guys? Because a ton might cost
a small guy.
But by God's grace, I'm not a small guy anymore. No, I'm not a small guy anymore. But I'm concerned about those who are starting from that, because a couple of years ago we buy a bag of cocoa for at least 50,000 naira. And currently a bag is up to 1 million, 1.5 million. To a ton should be about 15 million, 9.5, around that average. So the little guys that want to buy 2 tons, 5 tons, 10, 20, because the market is there in Nigeria here for them to sell immediately. We do cross border as well with Cameroon, because they also have, I know you mentioned it that we don't do it officially. I actually accept that, but then again, it's a good market. So what opportunities does Nexim have for the little guys? Because they might not have collateral, they might not have a lot, but they are very certain that they're going to get the payment for you, because it's a moving market, it's an everyday market.
My name is Ali Ibrahim Chata. I'm into share note. So this current ban have affected our business actually based on price. So selling right now, we are selling at loss. So I'm thinking into opening a processing plant, which is capital intensive for little people like us. So what do Nexim Bank have for us that doesn't have any experience in exports? We are just like selling to people that export, but now we want to process the share nut. Thank you.
The major problem we are having presently in this country is that the economic value chain is the source of everything. But the challenge is coming from the political value chain, judging from political economy. And now, the political value chain, the challenge there is lack of transparency. Transparency in the sense that, as you see Nigerian youth gathered here this morning, they are highly sophisticated in knowledge. They have the capacity to formulate policies in the area of business. But when it comes to assessing this fund, the political dynamics around the system doesn't allow them access to some of these funds that will enable them push ahead. Please, sir, what are those things that you have in place as a patriot who have shown yourself this morning to all of us that you are a true patriot for taking your time to be here, that will enable you break this chain of some intellectual youth in Nigeria not having access to funds in your office when it comes to funding their businesses?
I remain Comrade Engineer Bright Onyedikachi. I am the National Publicity Secretary of the Nigerian Youth Alternative Council. Many of our Nigerian youths come to us with cries close to what my brother just said. I never knew he had that in mind. One came to me and said, I went to Nexim and they dribbled me like Maradona. That was just his language. I'm just putting him verbatim. Another one came and said that an insider told him that the proposal he sent, they just removed the cover page and then replaced it with someone else's.
Wait, to do what?
To give somebody the...
How are they going to use it?
I don't understand.
Okay.
He's trying to access a fund. Do you understand?
Okay, go ahead.
You take me, sir.
Comrade,
Yes,
I've
sir.
asked him to let you ask your questions so that you won't say we're dribbling you here.
Thank you so much, sir. So, sir, and many more. Because of time, let me just leave it at that. How do we have real access without these Maradonas?
I am Ali Abdurrahman Abuse, a young lad. Why can't we replicate this model nationally, positioning Nigeria as a global leader in value-added export?
I am the national editor of CAFAN. CAFAN is the Catfish Farmers Association of Nigeria. We have tried all we could to meet with Nexim in order to have partnership in exporting our goods. We have met with the honorable ministers for marine and blue economy on how to produce fish. But you know the way we produce fish, there's no way we can consume all that we produce here in Nigeria. And therefore, we want to add to the economy of Nigeria by exporting our goods outside Nigeria. Now we can only do it through Nexim. Today, my joy did no bounds because you are here live. And from the way we have been speaking, I want you to give us an appointment to come and meet with you.
Can we see your face? Can you come out?
Tell me about shooting your shot.
Otumba. Okay. Please come out, sir.
Otumba.
Wow, the Agbada says it all.
Watch the camera, please. Yes.
Otumba.
Appointment is guaranteed. That's what we do here at the Nest. Thank you, sir.
Indeed, gateway to opportunities.
My name is Ambassador Aminu Yahya Bagudu. I'm from Kwara State, and I'm the CEO of Taj Good Services Limited. I've been in this sector for over a decade, and I trade wide across 10 commodities. My first question, I have a couple of questions written down, but the first one is, sir, sorry I did not greet you. Good morning, and sorry for the oversight. To the able APC youth leader, I also say good morning. And to Uncle Ms. Boji, I greet you good morning. My first question is this. Speaking on Shenot, I heard somebody spoke about it recently. He was speaking of it and talking about how people were losing money because, of course, the beautiful policy that was put in place for home-based supply for our local growing industries. Personally, I also trade locally, and as we speak, in my own warehouse in Kwara State in Ilorin, I have well over 1,000 tons of share nuts, which are procured for the purpose of export. You see, with the new regulation, it will be difficult for me to move on with that. My question is, the local industries that intend to buy these commodities from us, how do we regulate price so that we don't lose so much money?
Thank you once again for the opportunity. Okay, my question is this. Talking about exportation, the process is not just differs based on products. There are some products that are processed like the popcorn we're talking about. You know, before you can think of exporting such processed products, you must have Nigeria certification by NAFDAC, SON, and a whole lot like that, and must comply with the standard of the destination country. So these are some obstacles that exporters must cross. That's why I suggested what I suggested earlier. You understand, having manpower as consultants that can consolidate your activities. Your officer, with due respect, cannot do some of these things because they are somehow strategic and take them off their duties, you know, based on, okay, now we have organizations or SMEs that service like my own organization, like I said earlier. Those of us that are into testing, that are into, you know, consultancy for the packaging and the likes. And we must meet up with the standard, that's the international standard. I'm talking again as an accredited or certified assessor to Nigerian National Accreditation Service. That's why I'm. So looking at that, we too need some funding. We are like support system for the process. How do we assess that from you?
Thank you.
I hope the question is
Thank you very much. And it's important, please, let's have your details before you go. Make sure you see me. We'll see how we can also work with you to organize trainings for people that will benefit from this, that want to export. So we want to work with you. Please make sure you see me before you leave.
Thank you for funding. I hear what you are trying to say, that funding for this objective, that's funding exporters, is subject to political interference. That's basically what I'm hearing you say. I tell you, there is no political interference in the processes of Nexim. And I think for other DFIs too, so that I don't speak for Nexim alone. Nexim and other DFIs are government-owned agencies, government-owned enterprises, sorry. They are not subject to funding from, what do you call allocation from federation accounts? Yes. Okay, we're capitalized agencies. What we do is, all our lending is focused at the private sector. We only serve the private sector. So the only influence we have is good standard practices that are globally accepted in the processing of financial requests or proposals. We do not pass it through any political office. So there is no political influence. Just have that at the back of your mind. I know in Nigeria we still have trust issues. And I'm coming to the question that Comrade also asked. It's all about trust deficits within the system. Anything government, you think there is something else that influences it other than being professional. It is not so. Okay? In the development finance world, there are standards that drive us. And there are standards that are almost, you see, part of the people we deal with, development agencies across the world, they ensure that there is governance. They ensure that there are proper processes that are followed in the program, because they also lend us money. They're not going to lend us money that has political interference, to any agency that has political interference. So what government actually does with development agencies is to even assure them, Nexim, BOI, DBN, blah, we have ring-fenced them from political influence. So even if somebody high in government that you call politician says, give XYZ loan, he will come and follow the same processes that came from outside will follow. And if we don't think it is bankable, we give him a polite rejection and say, let him try again when he's more ready. So there is no political influence in Nexim, I assure you that. Then secondly, Comrade, I think I can just go straight into Comrade's. Comrade, I am not aware that we have dribblers in Nexim Bank. We don't have Maradonas. It is maybe when youth come in and want a loan and they start asking them to fill in documentation. But we've seen it before. They say you are dribbling us, you don't want to give us this money. But you cannot get a loan without meeting conditions and having proper documentation. And there is also a whistleblower facility that we have both on our website and right inside the bank. If you feel that somebody is doing things that are not in line with professional ethics, you can blow that, it will go past that person and go to the highest levels in the bank. But let me assure you that I am not aware in Nexim of today there are dribblers. They tell you straight to the point when your loan meets or your proposal meets the standards for processing or not. It's not about dribbling. And the second one you said is about, I think that covers it. Um, so there is nobody that fences you from coming to Nexim Bank. There is nobody that dribbles you, as far as I know. And I can tell you that I know the bank very well. Okay. Then, is it Ali? Ali, I'll take your question with the guy that is in the overflow, because it's all about share notes, right? Let me apologize to you on behalf of government, because maybe you have taken a position about supplying to exporters of raw share notes. Sometimes those things happen, but the longer interest or the longer objective is better for even you and the economy as a whole. There is no value in export of primary products. And for shea butter, most of it is exported informally. So we call it export smuggle. It is smuggled out of the economy. We don't feel the value of the export. Now, there may be a drop in prices. Why? Because the demand side has dropped. Clearly, it will drop, because those that are buying before will not buy again. So maybe there was even price inflation. Now it will go back to its right price. But let me encourage you, and you already have it as an objective or as a plan, that you want to go into the processing. So government policy is working, right? It's working. But you're going to suffer a small loss in this time that you are not prepared for this policy. Okay? Make the best use of the policy and make money from it by adding value to shea butter or to shea nuts into shea butter, even if it is in a cottage level, small scale. And as we've been saying since we started this program, come to Nexim. We'll sit down together, even if you don't have the proposal, the plan put together. We'll help you to put it together and see how we'll take you to be a shea butter processor. And the gentleman that is inside that has 1,000 metric tons, that's a significant amount of shea butter here. Immediately start looking for, you're in Kwara State, my friend has set up within financing a processing plant in Kwara State. Start looking for those people. They're your next customers. And let me also tell you what we have been doing, and this for everybody. Financing is always a problem for small and medium enterprises, yes? For someone like him that has 1,000 metric tons, it means he has put his equity into that business, right? And if it is in the warehouse or you are supplied to processors now, it may take them some time to pay him. There is an initiative that we're pushing through National Assembly and the Central Bank. It's called factoring as an alternative to financing. His money that is tied up in the warehouse today and supplied to processors can be refinanced with a factoring product, okay? So that before the processor pays him, he will get refinanced on his goods that he has supplied already. As an SME, you're not borrowing, interest-free. You're just going to maybe sell the invoice at a discount to a factor, okay? Where at the second reading of the factoring bill in the National Assembly, and hopefully before the end of the year, that product will be in the market for especially SMEs that are in the trade value chain, whether export or domestic trade. So let me encourage you to start looking for the processor that is near you. Most proximate to you is the one that has just set up in Kwara State. I can get you details of where it is. But I'll also encourage you to go into the processing of the shea butter by yourself. I think that's Mr. Bagudu, Ambassador Bagudu, right? Then catfish, we have made the appointment to meet. We're going to make the appointment to meet. We listen to everybody. Like I said at the beginning of this program, there is no product that is not exportable. I know that they're exporting dried catfish from the association, your own association. There is export of dried catfish to different parts of the world, especially for Nigerians in diaspora. And so to scale it, we can speak, but don't reduce our fish supply within the country, because I'm aware that there is a fish supply gap in Nigeria because we still import fish. So we don't want to make the gap bigger. Let's feed ourselves. That's very, 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 very top priority for government. Food sovereignty. Nigeria must achieve it, and we don't want to be the ones reducing what is already in the market and efforts that are being made for food security.
Thank you very much, sir. Before you continue, I have seen, I was to take more. I don't think, are you done, sir? No, he hasn't finished answering. I was just going to say, I've been sent videos from the overflow in the building and the one in the marquee. Thank you very, very much for being here. The turnout has been amazing as usual. I'm going to make sure that when we finish, the MD will come to both the overflow in the building in the front and the marquee to say hi to all of you. And then there are students who are producing, like the popcorn guy, who have an exhibition going on at the pavilion outside the gate. The MD would also try to visit before he leaves. So all of you in the pavilion, in the marquee, and in the front building, we'll make sure that we'll stop by. Don't be in a rush to leave. Thank you. We'll come back to questions. Go ahead, sir.
So the lady analyst with always the tough questions. Yeah, I appreciate what you do. You should be part of the facilitation process for SMEs and youth that are interested in accessing finance, and I don't want to limit it to export alone. What you do as an analyst and a consultant, I would think, is very important to the value chain. Okay, we'll look at it. If you are adding to the export, facilitation is part of the export value chain. And like I said earlier, we finance people that are in the export value chain. What you're offering is services, actually. Okay, and we finance services attached to the export value chain. Let's speak like the national youth leader has said, he will also want to use you in capacity building within the nest. Okay, and I told him the condition is that for you to get the money, you must agree to that capacity building.
Okay, so there's a gentleman there. There's another man standing by the gate. He hasn't answered yours. Okay. Other agencies.
Oh yes, so okay, that's what I have. Okay, so
okay, and the gentleman here said you haven't answered his own.
Which one? Okay, that's the skill sets and okay, you spoke about synergy, very important. Okay, and that's why when we're doing the export enlightenment program, we bring all those agencies together. It's all in a bid to collaborate, all agencies that are involved in the export value chain. We speak to each other, okay? And when the gentleman that spoke about the environment said that they were frustrating, it's one, standard organization or environmental agencies and so on and so forth. We all collaborate together, and where there is any bureaucratic bottleneck, we can support each other to make sure that we open up those tightness. If you know, there is something that is called MSME clinics, yes, which is driven by the Office of the Vice President. It is to bring all the agencies that are important to the success of MSMEs in Nigeria together. Okay, in some of the areas we have one-stop centers where everything an MSME needs to do its business, whether it's in the domestic market or in export. We all collaborate together to ensure we facilitate that business. If you're speaking strictly to the export value chain, again, within the export value chain, there is a lot of collaboration. But we cannot know where your pain is unless there is a feedback mechanism. And that we now rely on you, the exporter, to let us know when you have any bottlenecks, whether it is with the agency that you're reporting to, which is like in Nexim, or with other agencies that are slowing down your business. You know, in trade, speed is everything. Efficiency of the value chain is everything. That's what determines whether you succeed in the export trade or not. Okay, so wherever there are bottlenecks, be the first to shout so that everybody will sit up. The feedback mechanism is very important. So there's a lot of collaboration happening within the agencies and institutions. Some are even private, like certification and standard to ensure standards are met. Some of them are private, but there's also, like somebody mentioned, Standards Organization of Nigeria, which also plays its role in ensuring standards. Then there are a lot of questions. That means I missed a lot of them. The mindset makes, skill make, like mindset makes, skill makes.
So the mindset.
Yeah, which is what.
So I'm saying that as a regular individual.
No, it gets the question. It's just looking for the word mindset, skill, and tools.
Tool mix. Okay. So again, that's the process we want to do. Everything starts from the mindset, and for us, it is where we need to reorient people to have a different mindset from what we have today. Okay? Again, people tend to have a negative mindset around everything. So even when you come to trade, you don't want this our country, it don't work. That's a negative mindset. We always have positivity. Okay, there are people doing the export with all these challenges that we think we have in Nigeria, whether perceived or real. There are people doing the export and they are doing well in the export. So it is from the prism you look at it. Whatever you're going into, if you start with a negative mindset, it will end up negative. Because what is in your mind is what is. So assume you start with a positive mindset. You move on to the skill. You now move on to skills, right? And maybe I'll put skills and the toolbox kit together. Because for you to optimize the skills, God-given skills you have, you need some certain tools, right? Or maybe I didn't understand your question, but I think so. All those things are things that in Nexim and in the trade value chain, we consider as trade facilitation. It is a whole lot of things that happen, including, and we haven't spoken of it, for trade to succeed, there must be efficient logistics. Efficient logistics. Logistics is not about only transportation. It's a whole gamut of, it's a value chain itself, including, if you like, at the port, Steve Doran and what have you. It's all part of logistics. And moving your goods on Korea, if you are doing garmenting on Instagram, women, take note. If you are doing garmenting on Instagram, the logistics, GIG or DHL, they're all part of the logistics system, okay? That we must get right. We must make as efficient as possible so that those are part of your tools that you're speaking about. So tool goes beyond even your business, to the sector, to the environment, and to the economy. We have to produce those toolkit and those tool sets to ensure that trade for you succeeds. Okay? And for us, we group it under trade facilitation. It's all under trade facilitation. And that is one of them. Including other agencies, not only Nexim. Okay? That is our role for you. And then for the small guys, big guys, and I wanted to know where you are in today's. I will assume you are a big guy, or you are growing. But let me tell you, earlier we spoke about our support includes those that are not exporters, but are in the export value chain, including those that go, if you go to, let me take share because we just spoke about share. Those women that go and do the picking of share are in the export value chain. up to the local aggregation in their villages, aggregation in the maybe more commercial aggregation centers, maybe a bit. They're all in the export value chain. So if you're anywhere inside that value chain, you qualify for Nexim's support. So the small guys, today in your sector, cocoa, we have taken some people that used to supply the exporters to export themselves. We supported them while they were supplying the exporter, and now they're exporting themselves. It's part of capacity building. As our market people used to do, what do they call it? Apprenticeship. That you now become experienced enough and you get your freedom. It happens in the export value chain. Those that used to supply into the aggregation get enough experience, understand the value chain, and become expert.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. So we're going to take the final questions because we want chance for networking. There are Nexim officials who are here. Please, can you stand up so that they can see you? Please,
Yes.
Nexim
I
officials.
know we have an executive director, corporate services, Ibrahim Gaga. Thank you so much for joining this conversation.
Madam,
Thank
stand up,
you
stand
to
up,
all
stand up.
of you who come to support, of course, our MD for the great work that you do, because yes, we are applauding him, but you all make it happen. So thank you and very well done to all of you. A round of applause.
So what's going to happen is when we're done with this session, everybody will then get a chance to network again, even here and under the canopy. The Nexim officials will not go with the MD. They'll be here to take your cards, share their cards with you and all of that, so that we can take the conversation to another level and lead into transactions and businesses moving from here.
Thank you very much. My name is Shoaib Yunusa from Plateau State. One of the problems the federal government tried to solve is the issue of open grazing by herders, and which is one of the problem of crisis in my state, Plateau State. The government of former President, late President Muhammad Buhari, introduced the cattle ranching, which was vehemently rejected by people in Plateau State due to one or two reasons. So as a youth that want to see change in my community, I thought of venturing into private cattle ranching. I checked and saw that the countries that have one of the best cattle ranching is US, Brazil, Argentina, and Australia. So I don't know, is there any package by Nexim for me? Because I'm a novice in that aspect. Is there any package by Nexim for me that will take me to one of those countries for training before I come and establish the business?
My name is Nura Umar. I want to make an appeal. Next time, when the next program is happening, I want you to organize like all the agencies
together.
Yes, so that we know this will take this part, and this is the fight this agency will take. You understand? So that it will be once and for all. You understand?
My name is Opara Ozochi Alex, and I happen to be the chairman CEO KB Ventures. KB Ventures is a small startup that has so much passion and interest in the real estate, construction, development, and accommodation. So after my youth service, I started in a little way the way I can. I erected a small bungalow that was made up of 2-bedroom apartment in the front and a self-contained at the back. Just a year and a few months after construction, this administration came on board, and led by the present Minister of FCT, Wike, came to the community and demolished everywhere. And it was really quite unfortunate. So please, I want to know in what way can your agency assist me to start up all over again, sir? Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. I'm going to leave that to you, but I think it also goes back to my point about SMIDAN, Bank of Industry, and all those other agencies, which we are going to bring here as well by the grace of God. So you need to make sure that you've registered for this event. If we have your email, we would always send you emails of all the events that are happening here, so that you can be on our database, and of course follow us as well on all the social media handles. But what you said is something that I believe another agency, a couple of other agencies, like Small and Medium Enterprise Development Agency has funding for. Same does Bank of Industry and many other agencies that has money to support and DFI. Yes. DBN, yes, Bank of Agriculture, and all of those kind of things have money to support. But fantastic ideas.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Mrs. Monica Adodo. All protocol duly observed. I'm here for, I have two questions and also an assistance. So my question is, what is the Nexim doing in order to assist small-scale businesses? And secondly, what are the government doing to assist the youth with jobs? So the other one is just a help. I am into poetry and also selling of soft drinks in wholesale and retail. I think last year my poetry house collapsed, and coupled with paying of children's school fees and other things, there is no assistance coming from anywhere. So the assistance I get from my selling of soft drinks, I use it in paying school fees. So what can I assess? How do I assess hope in starting this business again?
Good morning, everyone.
Yes, sir.
My name is Abdulkarim Mariba Adewale. My question is to the MD and to the youth leader. To the MD, you are talking to the youth since, and you are saying, come to the office, come to the office, come to the office. Where is your online point of contact? Anybody can just go to the site now. As we speak, I went to the site. If you click on, you will see Get Loan. If you click on it, you see download the terms and conditions. If you click on that thing, it's not opening currently as we speak. I just cross-checked.
Okay.
So when you upload, are you sure it's not your network?
It's not my network. And you can also check on
okay, so it's not a basis for argument. So that point has been noted.
No,
they
I'm
would
not done. Okay, I'm not done. So there should be online point of contact, because civil servants sometimes, if you go to their offices, the way they respond, please, let's have seamless process online where you can go and do everything digitally. That's number one to the MD. And to youth leaders, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, go ahead. Yes.
Okay. Over time, I've been to a program or two that you anchored. You promise people, oh, we'll take your details, we'll do this, we'll do that. At the end of the day, you even drop your phone number. If you call you later, you don't pick. If you send you message, you don't do anything. Now the MD is assuring us that a money or something will be provided for businesses that are here. Please, how do we assess it? Genuinely, not just rhetoric. Genuinely, action now, not words. And also, please, the Nexim Bank, we've been talking about export. I think the full meaning of Nexim Bank, we have import and export too. We have people who do pre-orders here, ladies who do pre-orders, bags and all that. What do you have for people who also import goods? People who sell laptops, people who sell phones, people who sell other accessories. So it will be about export. Nexim is about export and import. Thank you so much.
Thank you. This guy just a throat bullet. Just a trusted bullet for everybody. Okay, so quick one. Number one, let me tell you something that is different and is a testimony for the youth wing. Before we got this property, the youth wing was operating from the national headquarters. One room, which was just Office of National Youth Leader. Like all the other NWC members, just one room in the APC headquarters building. And so, to the glory of God, with support of friends, loved ones, and people that believe in our vision, we were able to secure this whole building. This whole facility is to put in a structure around the youth wing of the party. I thought you would clap for us. Now we have a full-time administrative secretariat. It's not just about me as national youth leader. It's not a one-man role. We have a system around the youth wing. So all the programs that you see, including this one here, is managed by different members of staff who work here 9 to 8, 9, 5, 7. Sometimes, like yesterday, we left here at 11. We had to put everybody in the apartment to be here for 6 o'clock to run this. And so we now have a structure. So all of the ideas here now have a system that helps to build it. And that's why we can have programs last week, 2 weeks ago, have 3 programs this week during working days. Had one on Sunday, one today, one on Thursday, one on Friday, 2 on Saturday. We have a book club that now meets here on Saturdays, once a month for now. And we have a fitness program, exercise aerobic that starts here every Saturday morning at 8 o'clock. We build system. So you don't even need to call me if I don't pick. Don't bother. Just come to Youth House. There's a program manager that is in charge. Just ask for Amaka. She will solve you all your problems and get you to anybody you need to speak to. But talking about, follow up, there's going to be a system around what we do, by God's grace. Thank you. So next one, MD will answer his own part of the question. Okay, yes.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone.
Yes.
Thank you, my Gen Z youth leader. It's a pleasure. MD, I salute you and we appreciate your
Don't forget
presence.
MC.
Yeah. Oga Moji.
Oga? Okay.
Well done. All right. Everyone has said almost everything. I just want to know, Mr. MD, sir, do you have regional offices? Because everybody cannot come to Abuja. I may have a proposal or a concept, and I want to quickly get across to you. I would suggest that you have regional offices. Meanwhile, my name is Barrister Emeka Fonwatu. I am a legal practitioner, and I'm also a business consultant.
Esquire.
Yes.
Thank you. Well done.
All right. So I do business trainings, and I help support startup with innovations and ideas too. So I'm also interested in your trade facilitation program. And lastly, sir, I want to suggest that you have a competition for people with ideas. They'll come pitch their ideas, and then you pick among the best and you support. And I will volunteer to be part of your team too. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. So, Barrister Esquire and the lady, Madam Fashion, please let's connect after the event. I want to introduce you to Timmy. She's our head of training, our training officer here, so that we can see how we can work with you as well for other programs. Thank you very much. Okay, number what are you?
That's 5, 6. I'm 6.
Okay. We have to wrap it up now.
Everyone, thank you so much, APC National Youth Leader and the chairman, Nexim. My name is Charles Orike, and I'm a consultant. I facilitated for Food for the Poorest, USA. We had a project that's early this year in Delta, and I discovered some of the rural farmers there. One of the challenges I discovered about them is that most of their businesses are not registered. You talked about certification last time when you were talking. So, and they want to access loan. The first challenge they are considering is what is the duration of this loan? Because some of them are afraid 1 year is not enough for them, 2 years is not enough for them. They need a time frame to be able to manage the finances and repay back. So they want to know what is the time frame for this loan. That's what I want to ask. Thank you so
very much. Next. Okay.
Thank you,
We have to wrap up by 12, which is 8 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Baba Abubakar Bello, for the insightful session. I can say insight from our conversation have exposed me to Nexim initiatives for the youth. I am Teslim Abdulsalam, an engineer and business lead at Lefty Farms Limited. So we have about 50 acres of cashew plantation in Ojewode, Oyo State. My question goes as does Nexim fund startup exporters, especially the ones like me that have the farms already, but we are not processing or exporting our value-added products. So if we want to move from just being a producer of cashew nuts to processors, so I think we are startup exporters like that. Without and maybe we are operating as informal businesses in the past. And secondly, I commend the single-digit interest rates offered by Nexim, but does Nexim offer non-interest facility? Since CBN provides for non-interest banking in the country. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay. Number 8 now. Okay, where's 8? Where's number 8? Okay, go ahead.
Good afternoon, MD. Good afternoon, our youth leader, and thank you very much, our beautiful Moji. Having been here,
Moji, they've upgraded you from Gam Moji to beautiful Moji.
Okay, being in this program, I've been informed, and now I want to tap into the exports sector. So my question is, what are the certifications I need? What certifications or documentation do I need to be able to tap in?
Thank you. What's your name, ma'am?
Okay, sorry, my name is Beauty Solomon.
Okay. Abdul Salam, you've asked question already now. Okay, oh yeah, wait. Yes.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
My name is Omale Nemogo. My question is to the MD.
Yes.
Please, is your agency limited to SMEs that are into exports alone? For me, I have a company that want to go into pet fish and processing. It's a processing line that I think in the North Central I want to develop. Pet fish processing is a machine, yes. Pet fish to produce fish for our catfish this thing.
Okay.
Thank you.
Give it to the next person beside you. Yes.
Thank you. I'm Abidoya, Mr. Alam from Osun State.
Yes.
My questions are, what concrete strategy is Nexim banking putting in place to make export financing more accessible to small and medium-scale entrepreneurs, especially those outside major commercial hubs like Lagos, Osun, Abuja?
Good morning, everyone.
Yes, that's all.
All protocols observed. I'm trying to inquire, are there plans for Nexim to create probably schools or a school or a college for people? Because there is a gap in literacy in exportation and importation.
Thank
Is
you.
there any form of school, or are you planning to infuse it into the educational system? Maybe you're working with the Ministry of Education or stuff like that.
Thank you
so much. My name is Tunde Abodure. I want to appreciate the national youth leader, for giving us good representation at the national level over the years. A round of applause for the national youth leader, please. Thank you. Somebody talked about decentralization. In order not to waste much of our time, I think I should pick it up from Barrister. Yeah, from Barrister. Your question is?
I heard the internal audit of Nigeria, Nexim Bank. So when a young man raised issue around the website, I quickly bring out my phone. I needed to give a query to the IT and the CCT. So I was able to open the website, and I was able to also go into all the apps in the website. I think it's a network issue. Just to let you know that Nexim is not like any other civil servant or civil
It's an agency.
It's an agency.
Yeah.
So we cannot deceive you with our website.
Yes.
Everything you want is in the website. Yes. So it's just the network. I tried to go into it. I saw what you saw.
Round of applause for Nexim.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning to everybody present here today. Good morning, youth leader. Good morning, Mr. MD. And good morning, beautiful Madam Muji. As Mr. MD introduced me as his daughter, firstly, I'd like to thank you guys for the wonderful experience and also taking out time to have this program, because it's been very insightful and also engaging as well. So firstly, at the start of the conversation, you mentioned something about Nexa Academy, which is basically a program of, I'd say, mentorship. How does one access it? You said it's free, so. And also, secondly, this question is very similar to the question Ms. Beauty asked. I think most SMEs' concern is mainly the loans getting rejected, as it has happened previously. What would you say should be the requirements that should be ticked off besides documentation, and as an SME that doesn't really have the
Yes, paperwork.
history of credit? Yes.
Which is
Fantastic work.
a greenfield project like somebody asked.
Thank you.
Alright, then that's it. Thank you.
Can I add to that if the training that you're talking about, like the Nexim, is digital, are there plans for it to also be physical? Because those are areas where we can then work together and collaborate. Yes, sir. The floor is yours.
The digital part. So maybe let me start from the last question about Nexim. By the way, I didn't invite her here. She saw Dio's publicity on social media and she said she must be here. Among my children, she's the most, the biggest lover for money. So she wants to be where you can be. But she's also part of your constituency. So let me start with Nexim, since that was the last question. It's a digital platform that we created to support physical capacity building and enlightenment we do. So since we reckon that almost everybody who wants this has a channel that we can reach in on, we purposely created that digital platform. How you reach it is www.nigerianexportacademy.com. It's free for now. I've said it again, for now. So the purpose is to try and put this training session. Now, it is so good that some financial institutions on the commercial side have come to the platform and want to put their own training facilities on it. And specifically, I can even open it because they declared it. First one has now even come to want to use that platform to reach their customers that are in the export value chain. So it is there. Then the certification thing, I can answer both of you at the same time. Certification is not one static document. It is product specific. Certification is product specific, and for different products, first of all, sector. If you are in the agricultural sector with SDGs, there is certification for certain things that are SDG related, which will include even up to using child labor in the production of goods. So there is no one thing you will say that is the requirement for certification. It depends on the product you are dealing with. So around different things, right? At the end of the day, what they want to do with certification is to say, first of all, this thing, global best practice has been put in the production of this product. It is safe for human consumption or animal consumption. It is safe to put on your skin. It is safe, different things. So at the end of the day, you can aggregate it to now say this product meets global standards. It's all about standards and nothing else. So, but the requirements are different. The certification for solid minerals will not be the same as certification for agricultural products. Yes. Okay, so it's not specific. It is specific to the product, not a general certification. Let me go back to, you also mentioned something about greenfield projects, which is what somebody who said he has a farm, but he's not in export. It is people like you that want to graduate from farm ownership. That's the produce in our paper.
Yes.
We want you now, you're asking me if we can finance you to add value, right? For export. That is our whole PAVE philosophy. So if you're already in it, you don't have to be an exporter. You can gradually build capacity for export while doing your business. That cashew, you can start supplying it now to a processing plant while you build capacity, maybe through your own effort or through debts. You can come to us, that's what we're doing. To add value addition equipment to your process. And once you start adding value, then you're good for export. Hopefully you would have picked up the experience while you're supplying a processor that will enable you to. So it's a gradual transition from you dealing from the farm to adding value to export. And you can always count on us to support you, even if you haven't done export before. If we're trying to get all of you to get into export, it means you haven't done export before. So it's a gradual process. There are some that can just go straight into export. Some have to build capacity because what they deal with is a bit more technical or has higher standards and certification requirements. But we'll be glad to mentor you through when you're ready. Pet fish. Again, that's a new one for me. I don't know. Oh, the feeds. The feeds. The feeds. Okay. I mean, once you're in the export value, if those fish, the fish you're producing is for export, we'll feed the fish. And that's part of the input for the export.
Yes.
Okay. So we have products that we call input facilities for whatever we're exporting. That's what we finance actually, inputs. So if the fish that you produce in your farm, if it's a farm, is for export and you need feed for it, yes, you can come for funding of the fish. But again, I said that we're sorry? Yes, I'm going to speak about I'm going to speak about channels.
Yes.
Because this guy that was firing shots at me because I said come to us. You know, these days when you say come to us, it can be physical or virtual. I was going to leave the channel thing to the end, but two questions came that are related to channels. Channels is how you can reach us. Okay? Somebody asked whether we have regional offices. We have one office in every region of Nigeria. But again, Nigeria is a very big country. Our northeast region, we're actually even thinking of adding another office because the geographical distance is far. But how can we keep opening channels? When we open in every state now, you go to your local government, you say there is no Nexim in your local government. Can we continue to do that? So we're relying on digital platforms. You can reach us on digital platforms. That's the way to go now. So I was kind of disappointed with Nexim when somebody said he tried to open the application
website.
Yes, for Nexim. Because I was going to boast when he said, we've been saying come to us, and it's the digital age. I was going to boast and say that we have everything on our website. Then he now got on and said that. But thank God somebody has looked at it. We cannot say sometimes the technology fails us. We always strive for perfection. We'll try as much as possible to make it at least 99.999% uptime so that wherever you are, you're able to access us digitally. So when you hear, sir, that said you have tried to access us and you didn't go, I've said everything. You can see we started from physical export enlightenment and we put it digital. Everybody cannot reach us from every point of Nigeria physically. So we must make it easy for them, those that are in very far-flung places, far away from our physical points, to reach us digitally. And we'll continue to make those products available on digital platforms. So I hope that answers you very well. Beauty, we answered about your certification. Non-interest facilities. think it was Abdul Salam. Yeah. We have almost reached the end, because non-interest facilities is a product that the central bank must approve for specific institutions. You can't just decide that now you're a conventional bank, then tomorrow you say you're doing non-interest. So they've done all the assessment. They've, I think, if most of us here would have let us know the final stage. They need to give us but it's a project we're pursuing, because, let me even make it better for you. In our partnerships with international export credit agencies, there are some we have with countries like Saudi Arabia, Saudi Nexim, which operates on non-interest banking. So if we are going to make those facilities available to you, we must be able to do it on a non-interest basis. Okay? So just to keep you updated, is something that maybe within this quarter, maximum end of the year, we would have reached the point where we can now advertise that we're not doing non-interest. I've answered cashew plantation, right? We did not. Then, rural farmers and tenure. Somebody asked that question. Okay, so every facility we give, the tenure will depend on the conversion cycle. What we call the conversion cycle, that is cash to cash. Do you understand? When you put in cash as input, it comes out as cash as output. It takes X number of years. It is different for every business. Even in the agricultural value chain, like farming. If you put money for cashew, the time it takes for it to become cashew is longer than if you put it in maize. They have different. So every specific facility, maybe some of you look at us and think we don't do any work, we're inside AC. We do a lot of brain work for you, okay? For every specific facility, we look at a reasonable turnaround time from cash to cash. We call it the working capital cycle, okay? And the tenure of the facility will be based on that. I can't be telling you to enter processing, and I'll give you a 90-day facility. Because processing has a gestation period. It takes time from the time you get machines to the time you install them to the time you start business, that you generate enough cash flow. So all that goes into consideration in assessing the tenure. So even your farmers, if we're going to lend to farmers, we're going to take that into consideration to know the tenure that we're going to give each particular farmer, depending on the kind of product he does. And then the same gentleman that asked about our channel. You also said that we have just been talking about export. Well, meanwhile, our name is also import.
Okay, just a big bass boss for everybody.
Okay, why are we not talking about export? So, why are we not talking about import? We've just been talking about export because Nexim is an export bank. And I will explain to you what the import stands for. Okay? We are not an import bank. It didn't say Nigeria Export and Import Bank. It says Nigeria Export Import. This import is for export. Now, if you want to make rubber boots, gum boots they call them, right, for rain boots, for supply to Ghana using Nigeria's rubber, you are going to need equipment, right? You are going to need spares for your equipment. And maybe you're even going to need some raw material apart from the rubber, maybe chemicals. That is what our import stands for. Import that you add value for export. Not the one that you gave example, you say some people want to sell computer. We don't finance import for local consumption, but import that is related to your process in export. Okay. And then this is Monica and Nura Umar, right? No, Okpara. You spoke about your businesses being destroyed. Yours by losing the building, your own by demolition. That is not our area of, that's not our mandate. And I think the youth leader responded aptly, is what SMEDA is set up for. We work together. If you are in businesses that are export oriented and you're small, you could be with SMEDAN and also be with Nexim, okay? But in your instance, it is the place of your business that got destroyed, or para two. Your place of your business got destroyed. Is SMEDAN that is the best agency that can help you come out of that. And like the youth leader said, my sympathy for what has happened to your businesses, both you and Opara. I think this will be the final question. No, there's somebody asked about ranching. Who's it? Somebody from Plateau State. Okay, yeah, Shaibu Yunusa. Do you know with this cattle matter, the best thing to have is ranching? The best solution to this is actually ranching. So that is a different matter. But let me tell you what Plateau State can do. And I add Benue State to that. And if I might, add Taraba State to that. Because those are the ideal feeding grounds for cattle. The type of grass and large, create a cow economy there. Because for those of my colleagues that followed the president to Brazil, that is one country, and I think somebody mentioned it about Brazil and cows. That is one economy that I know has optimized the cow economy. Cow doesn't have waste. There is meat, there is bone, there is horns, there is skin, there is what all of us are wearing on our feet today. And women are carrying as bags, leather. So it is something that can start a meat processing plant sector. Leather cluster. Today we don't have anything we do with the leather that or skin that we produce, because we have nothing to do with it, and it's a smelling, we devised a way of eating it as pomo. But it is economic value that we're eating that has low nutritional value. So if I tell you that it is estimated 10,000 cows are slaughtered in Lagos alone every day, 10,000 cows can sustain maybe 5 or 6 tanneries. Thank God Lagos has just opened one leather processing. It's something that should happen. Now, if Benue, Plateau, and Taraba would consolidate the 20 million cows in Nigeria and put them in one place, the cow economy you will create, you wouldn't want to be waiting for FAC again. Because you are going to create enough value within the state that you don't even care what happens at FAC every month. There is a lot of value in that. We should not be fighting, we should be collaborating and coordinating our economic strengths into productivity. I think that's one thing that we should do. But we don't do ranching. Like I said earlier, Ministry of Livestock has been created. Thank God, Bank of Agriculture has now been empowered again. That is the ideal situation is Bank of Agriculture finances, Bank of Industries finances industry, we finance trade. That's the ideal situation, yes. And I hope we'll get there at some point. Then You answered somebody who asked about joint sessions with agencies. It's a good idea. That's what we do in our export enlightenment. But in this setting, I think youth leader, maybe when we come, all of us individually, you have time with us, then we'll start coming together.
Yes.
So that, because coming together is about challenges you're facing in your trade and businesses. Then you can point to every agency to say, this is my pain point, and it is under your agency. So I think I've responded to all the questions.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause to the Managing Director, CEO of the Nigerian Export-Import Bank. I love the fact that the import is for export. So that this guy does not start shooting bullets again. Okay, at this juncture, we have a small presentation for MD. Toby, can I have them?
I think we still need to give a better round of applause to the Managing Director of Nexim Bank. You know, there's some leaders that you see far off, when you have them closer. He's such an attentive leader and very passionate about this role he occupies. So let's give him a better round of applause, and if you may, a standing ovation as I join us.
So he's been here for 4 to 5 hours listening to us. He was here by 9. Before 9, it's a few minutes to 9. So that's 10, 11, 12, 1. That's about 4 hours plus. And for all the work that he has done, for all the problems that he has solved, for all the investment that he has made into businesses, SMEs, in investments, for all the financing of startups, we want to appreciate the MD today with the award for outstanding contribution to economic growth in recognition of your visionary leadership, unwavering dedication to SME financing, non-oil export production and promotion and trade development by driving Nigeria's agro-industrial evolution and empowering businesses to thrive in the global market. You serve as an inspiration to the next generation of business leaders. Ladies and gentlemen, presented, Zubair, please join me.
Don't make the youth of Nigeria think that I have only one time. Let them not think I have only one time. It's what happens that I'm wearing the same tie today.
Presented to you by the APC National Youth Wing. Can I have Her Excellency join us? Joshua, join us. Where is Eddie Young? Please come join us. Excellency. Oh yeah, Ajia. Miss Bello, please join us. And this is for you, for your office, to keep to remember us. We recognize the effort and your contribution, and we hope that you will drink with our mug. Yes. No, you know it's a businessman. Let them not put. Let's make it. Yes. But it's here. So before they say we are epicizing Nexim, we want to say a big thank you and congratulations for the absolutely contribution, outstanding contribution to economic growth. Thank you very much, MD. Please, another round of applause. Thank you. Yes. Yes. Can we have the Nexim team on the stage? Can we invite the Nexim team to come and take pictures? Yes. Let's have Nexim team. Yes. Nexim team, please come. Yes. Zubair, stay. Yeah. Don't worry, we're coming to the overflows and the marquee. Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I want to use this opportunity on behalf of all the youths and especially the national youth leader of the APC, Dr. Dayo Israel. We thank you, Mr. Abubakar Bello, the Managing Director, Nexim Bank. We also thank all the staff team that supported him through this occasion. We also recognize everyone that has taken part in this occasion to make it a very desirable and exciting one. And the MD, we are very grateful for how you have handled the youth, because the youth are the most, let me say, hard to handle. And you have really humbled us. You have made this interactive section so very rich, and we have been exposed and more enlightened. And I believe all your channels of contact and reaching out will be flourished by a teeming youth of not just who are attending this occasion, but of that of Nigeria. We thank everyone that has attended this occasion, and we look forward to seeing you again. Finally, let me thank my own leader, and my leader is the National Youth Leader, Honorable Dr. Abdullahi Dayo Israel, LLB. He has given us opportunity at this the next is the great things happen here, and the great things are already happening here. And we want to thank him for bringing such an opportunity to everyone, beyond even the youth. We are saying thank you very much. On behalf of everyone, we say thank you very much.